Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Scott.
I'm John.
And we're married. And this is our knitting and fiber-related YouTube show.
Yes.
Called SweetTeaNoShade. I am SweetTeaNoShade on Instagram and Ravelry. And you are?
On Instagram, I'm John Asbury. And
With a Z.
With a Z. A-Z-B-U-R-Y. And on Ravelry, I am ILoveYouIKnow.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So, it was about, was it 3 weeks ago?
I think 2 weeks ago?
No, it wasn't 2
3
weeks
weeks ago?
I think it was 3 weeks ago. Was when we posted our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get back into the every 2 weeks thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we were out of town last weekend, which would have been 2 weeks, which was at the American Birkebeiner, which I don't know if many people have heard of that before, but it's a cross-country ski race, and it's our friend Nate was competing in it, and it's a
50K.
50K,
so.
which I don't know if it's like 20 some miles.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So it's quite the big deal. It's in Hayward, Wisconsin, and it's quite the big deal. So Nate and his wife Amanda invited us to come and spend the weekend with them at the Airbnb, and
it was super fun.
It was super fun. It was super cold.
It was super cold, but it was, it's a outdoor cross-country skiing thing, sort of comes to the territory.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we're back, and better than ever.
So the Birkebeiner celebrates, and I don't know, this is like, somebody told me this.
Oh, I know. I think I know.
Okay, go for it.
So, in the past, I think that's in the late 1200s, there was like a royal coup in the...
Well, why did you get all excited to tell this story?
Because it's super fun.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
There was, again, this is not exact word for word, or I'm sure...
I'm pretty sure this is Norway.
Norway, yeah. So it was like the Norwegian royal family. There was a coup or something like that. I don't know. And I think the king got killed or deposed or something. And
he was killed because otherwise he would have he would have skied away.
I think he might have been in jail.
Oh, that's true. Okay, go ahead.
I know a lot about deposing things. So the queen and the baby prince were ferried away to safety by these 35 guys who were on skis. So they skied 50 kilometers from...
The queen was also on skis.
Yes. So they're all skiing. I don't know if the little kid was... I think she was carrying the baby.
The baby was strapped to her.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, and so they skied for 50 kilometers from one place to another in Norway.
See, this is why I was worried about you telling the story. It was much longer than 50K. They just do it 50K in the United States. They do the full length in Norway, I think.
Oh.
Keep
you
going.
know as much as I do.
No, I know more than you do.
No.
Yeah, because I went and read about it.
So how long did they do Norway?
It was like
longer.
200 miles or something like that. Like 500K.
Longer. I doubt it was 500K.
Anyway, she had the baby prince strapped to her, and then they skied away to safety. And so this race is to commemorate that. They started it 49 years ago in the United States, in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And they always start the race with people that are selected to be the 35 and the queen. Someone is selected to be the queen, and then she has a weighted, like a fake baby that they strap to her. But one year, the woman who was selected to be the queen had just had a baby. So she had a real baby strapped to her.
But they don't do the full thing. So
yeah, they don't do the full
thing. And
it
was super fun. Yeah.
It's a very upper Midwest thing to do, to go and spend all day outside, where it's like, it was like 5 degrees Fahrenheit when we started the day.
Yeah. It got warmer through the day, but the morning was pretty cold. And I'm kind of thinking about it'd be really fun to go, because they do this in Norway every year too. And they commemorate, I don't know if they did the original route or what, but I think it'd be fun to see at some point too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
and we know that our friends Nate and Amanda would love to do that too.
yeah.
So the other thing is that, so that's what we were doing last weekend. And so I forgot to start off with this, but we sincerely apologize for the audio issues that we had last week.
Yes.
We've discovered that our cheap, audio microphones that we had purchased
and used for quite some time.
For quite some time.
So, I mean, I don't know if it was the year of not using them or they just got old or...
Yeah. But we had originally gotten them because we were doing a lot of recording outside and we were trying to compete with the wind.
Right.
And so, but the audio is better with microphones, but not crappy microphones. So right. For any of you that do YouTube, you can imagine like recording an entire episode and then you can't go back and re-record it. And so we did our best to I did my best to clean the audio
I
up.
did nothing.
Yeah. You were supportive. You were moral support, but did our best to clean the audio up, but it was not great. So we are going to, so right now we're just using the microphone that's on the iPhone itself that we record on, and then we're going to look into new equipment eventually.
Yep.
So we are back to talk about knitting.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have 2 movie reviews and the reinstatement of the new. Sorry, what am I trying to say? The re-kickoff of our season 2 of our movie reviews.
Right.
Our first season was several years of Angela Lansbury movies, but we're moving on to a new genre.
Right.
Or a new category, or a new
framework.
So, yeah. So we've got a little bit of knitting, some acquisitions. I have a hoe, a half-finished object.
I've got all whips.
Oh, you do? Okay.
All whips.
So I have a hoe and a whip. Well, it's the same thing. So I only have one thing to really show. So
I have.
Oh, that's not true. I have 2 things to show.
Do you need to go with the second thing?
Oh, yes. Hold on.
Bye.
All right. So my watch is going to tell me that I just did a workout from running to go get stuff. Yes. So, John, do you want to start?
Sure. And I'll start with my one I'm working on right now. So, if y'all remember last week, it wasn't last week, the last time we crashed the podcast, I mentioned that we'd gotten this book, which is called Knitting the National Parks. It's 63 Patterns by Nancy Bates. And I just went through, I'm going to start at the beginning. So the one I'm going to do is called Acadia. That's what it'll look like when it's done. So it's a colorwork hat, white, and it's just like birch trees.
A throwback to the Birkebeiner.
Oh, yeah, no.
Which Birke, I think, is birch bark.
Birch bark. Because they wore the birch as
armor.
like birch armor. So it all comes together.
In Norwegian.
Yes. So it's just like birch trees or aspen trees. I'm not sure. So anyway.
Yes, Betty Ann, you're getting an episode very soon.
Did she
literally just texted me while we're recording an episode. Do I get a new episode soon? We're recording right now. You're interrupting our episode.
Yeah, we should just stop right now just to teach her a lesson.
Yeah, exactly. Just stop.
So anyway, so I'm making this. So what's fun, again, it's be a really cool pattern. So it's basically the pattern calls for a white background with sort of black yarn to sort of mimic the color, I don't know what you call it in birch trees. However, I dug into my stash and I have this yarn, which is a big tangled mess. And that is... Nope. But anyway, I have this yarn here that I think that was called birch bark, something like that. So as you can see, it's sort of white with these black speckles or bits.
You were talking about the bits.
So these little, I don't know if you'd call them like speckles or what have you.
The black spots.
The black spots in
birch bark.
Birch bark.
Birch bark.
Birch bark.
Birch bark.
Birch bark. So this yarn is supposed to, when you knit it up, kind of does that pattern by itself. So it didn't really need the black color work. So I'm going to take this yarn, which is a brownish yarn, in this yarn, which is a greenish yarn. And this I have the thing from. This is Treasure Goddess yarn. It's worsted weight. It's 100 superwash merino wool, and the colorway is Land Ho! Exclamation point. And so what I'm going to do is knit the main body of the hat with this as the main color, and then use these two as kind of my contrasts for those little splotches.
Oh, so you are going to do the color work?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think you were going to actually do the color work. Okay,
Yeah.
Now I got it.
So the instead of these the birch splotches, which will be done by the yarn itself, will kind of have a ground and grass or something like that in the middle of it. So that'll be fun. So I have cast it on, and this is again one of the reasons I liked this book is because I knit a lot of hats, and so this is like leftover from parts of mittens. This is leftover from part of a hat, and so these color work hats are a really great way to sort of stash bust a little bit. So all of this stuff is yarn that I've already bought and used in projects, and I know that I like it. So that's kind of fun. And so it's also a way to use the yarn we have instead of going out and buying new yarn for new projects.
So pause right there because I want to mention the episode, the podcast that we watched earlier today. I can't remember her name, but I wanted to give her a shout out about her episode that she did about managing your leftover stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I get to that? Okay, so knitting the stash.
Okay, so
knitting the stash. She has a knitting podcast, and her name's Melissa. But she just posted an episode. I think is it today that she posted it. It was the newest one in the newest ones in my subscriber feed. 11 hours ago, and she talks about it's a short video, but it's 5 tips for organizing your sweater scrap yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, you're sitting there waiting for me to finish. I'm
so
sorry.
I thought I was pausing, and then you jumped right back in. So I was trying to maintain continuity.
Oh, well, thanks for that.
No problem. They're really heavy, so I'm going to put them down for a little bit.
They're really heavy. Anyway, you mentioned it was a good stash bust.
Yes.
And she, I just liked the way that she talked about organizing. She talked specifically about organizing sweater scrap yarn, but anyway.
Yeah. So again, I've knit stuff with all this stuff. So I like it. It's fun. And I have just started casting on, actually this morning, I cast on the bottom, the brim? No.
The brim of the hat?
Brim of the hat?
Yeah.
Why does that not sound right?
Because I think of a brim.
Yeah, and not a...
Yeah.
The ribbing for the hat.
Yeah.
So I cast on this morning, and it's going really well. I did a tubular cast on, which is where you cast on some... Basically do a provisional cast on using a crochet hook, and you cast on half the stitches you need, and then knit one, yarn over, knit one, yarn over, and then do 2 rows of setup, and you have this really, the edge is just amazing. It's just so smooth and great. So it takes a little longer, but I really like it. So yeah, this is my most current project, and so far so good. I'm excited to see what it looks like. Again, I really like the patterns in this book, and I think I just try to knit my way through it because they're all...
You stole that idea from me.
Probably. So yeah, and the cool thing about it is because you don't...
You know what would be fun?
What?
Is if I started at the end.
We met in the middle.
Okay. But I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't have any follow through. So.
Yeah. We'll. I may not knit them all, but I mean, again, they're all fun hats, and they're really. I guess I said last time, they're different enough that I think you could have some really kind of cool, different hats, and I like knitting hats.
So one thing that I'm very glad that I did recently, and it's on a pattern that I'm going to talk about, is I got some stash yarn, and I'm making a project with all stash yarn, or sorry, all remnants.
Yes.
Is that what you call it? When you mean when you've got...
Yeah, it's leftover.
Yeah. And I took the skein that was the leftover and I ran it through the ball winder.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And it just made my life so much happier.
Yeah.
So, so it was, the other thing is I think I'm just not going to knit from the center anymore. And I'm always going to knit from the outside. Because when you knit from the center, it just eventually, the skein collapses and it just feels like it gets really messy. And I know you have to like let the skein roll around.
Yeah, but as long as it can roll around. And
I just really prefer knitting from the outside because it doesn't...
And like I've always heard it
collapse.
like messes your tension up, but I don't think it does.
Yeah, I think that's...
I think it...
shenanigans.
Well, I think it might if you... really particular.
This is the skein that was left over, and it looked worse than this.
Right.
And I reran it through the ball winder, and now it's this perfect, beautiful little cape.
Yeah, I might do that with... This one is still pretty... I might do it with the green, because it's kind of getting a little...
Yeah.
Getting
unmanageable.
Yeah, we'll see.
Plus, I don't think I have any in here, but those little... Who was it that... Was it... We bought it at a yarn show, those little skein bags.
Yes, those are fantastic.
Who was it? It was the... Oh my gosh. The guys that do the yarn that's like based on music or theater.
Oh, Leading Men
Fiber Arts.
Yeah.
They sold, I don't think they made them, but they sold when they were here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, these little small canvas bags.
The little
those are great.
Ball or skein bags, but and they can roll around in there just fine. I found. Yep.
So yeah, this is again, it's kind of fun. I just cast it on this morning, so I've got it's like maybe a little under an inch right now, and always fun to be knitting a hat.
That is true. So okay, can I do one now?
Yes, because we'll do me, you, me, you, me. And then we'll be done with our objects.
Okay, so I think I'm going to do this one next. That's in this bag. So, I am knitting another Mr. Bakery Bear by Kay Jones. They have the Bakery Bears podcast. They're pretty well known. This is a pattern that she released in 2014, or at least that's what the copyright date is on this. And... I knit it before for my brother and his wife, and we had friends that just had a baby, and so I am knitting a little stuffed bakery bear for them.
For Felix.
For Felix. So this is, I've never done the thing where you hold the iPad up to record it, and we'll see if this works. I'm going to turn the light all the way up. We'll see if this works.
Or just a big reflection.
I'll put a picture on it.
Right.
Otherwise, but or I'll insert a picture. But this is the what it looks like, and the thing that's fun with this is that you can do, and she encourages you to do whatever color combination you want. So I'm gonna knit the body of the bear out of this blue. The only thing is,
I
don't know if I've done something wrong, but it doesn't look right. I've knit this pattern before, but it doesn't look quite right. So
that can be the back of the bear.
No, that's the top. That's the head.
Oh, I don't.
Where the head goes, and this all gets covered up. So it's I don't remember it looking like this. But I could be wrong.
Did you add your? It looks like you just have like a bunch of... I don't know. I've never done that.
It's knitting a circle. I don't remember if the body... I remember this body being a rectangle. But I could be wrong. So I'm just going to keep going.
The sweater's a rectangle.
Well, whatever.
Okay.
I don't think I did anything wrong, but I'm just going to keep going because I have to do like 19 rows of... this just doesn't feel right. But then again, it could be just a round little body and then you attach the legs and the arms to it. I don't remember. It's been too long since I've done this pattern, but I thought I did it right.
Did you do it on Magic Loop last time?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. And so I'm probably halfway through the body. So I've got, and then you knit it closed. You stuff it and knit it closed. And then, so anyway, I'm not going to worry about it right now because it doesn't take too long. So this is going to be the body, this dark blue. And then I've got all this yarn that I'm going to decide what to do with. Because you've got pants that you make, a sweater, and then you've got like the inside of the ears.
What are you going to do the face color for like the nose? On this?
Yeah.
No, I think you could do
or brown or something. Yeah, something.
I don't know if black would show up on that dark blue.
Yeah, that's true.
Very well.
But so I've got this color, which if you guys remember back in the day, we did a Intarsia interlock, because we were trying to figure out what that even meant.
And neither one of us finished our projects.
Yeah. Well, this one, I could not figure out the pattern, and then, what was that person's name? He went out of his way to, like, figure it all out and, documented it all and sent it to me. It was amazing. It's been so long I can't remember. But anyway, this was a hat that I failed on. It was a project fail, but that's okay. And it's interlock?
Interlock.
Or is this Intarsia?
No, it's interlock.
This is interlock. Okay.
Yeah.
So this I might do the pants with the sweater or something in. And then I've also got this one that I can do I could do the sweater in.
Yeah.
And then this one, I'll probably do the pants in this one. Mm-hmm. Which is, this is the only one I have the ball band for still. This is Virginia Local Dyer. It is a Virginia Local Dyer. Urban Girl Yarns.
Yeah.
DK, and the colorway is Boston. And it's...
No, the colorways collided. The colors
collided.
Oh,
sorry. What is Boston? That must be her...
that must be her DK
the
weight.
Base.
Yeah.
The color is Kaleidoscope. And then 100% Superwash Merino. So it'll probably be the pants. I don't know. I'm just having fun using remnants. Mm-hmm. And then deciding, kind of as I go, like... There's some really funkadelic, crazy yarns that people have made bakery bears out of.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. So
cool.
I kind of put it down and haven't been doing much with it because I saw it and I was like, oh, this looks wrong. I don't remember this. But I just need to keep going and finish that and
because
see if it's right.
a very. I mean, if it turns out you've done. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god, I'm so dumb.
Oh, babe.
Okay, I'm so dumb.
What happened? Are you knitting
I'm knitting the head, and I thought it was the body.
Isn't that a little big for the head? So you think it's the head?
I think this is the head.
Does it look right for the head?
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a ball. So that makes sense that this is a circle, and then the second half of the head will be decreasing down.
Gotcha. I thought the body was a circle, and I thought you were like...
I thought I was doing the body, but you start with the head. Oh my goodness. What's wrong with me?
This is why we have podcasts, because we get to talk stuff out loud, and then you figure it out.
Yeah.
If we hadn't figured it out, one of our lovely viewers would have been like, hey...
Hey girl, that's the head.
That's the head.
Okay. I'm just going to set that aside, keep going, and pretend that I didn't just make a fool of myself.
You figured it out.
Thousands and millions of people just saw me, like national coverage, international live television. People saw me make a fool of myself. Okay, go ahead. What's
too
next?
bad for you? All right. So this is one I was working on last time. It's pretty fast. These are the Hazelfern lace and cable socks from Brooklyn Tweed, knitted in some yarn that I don't have the ball band for. I think it's Peary.
You talked about it last time.
Yeah. So anyway, it is. I actually sort of the project I'll show next is the one that's sort of taken
Peary.
over.
Peary. 100% American Merino.
So I think I am. Let's see. What did I do with it? Oh no. I had a counter, so I know which row is on. I can figure it out, but I think I put it in with another project. So, but I think I'm like on row.
Now you've made a fool of yourself on national television.
Oh my god!
Television.
Now we're even. But I think I'm almost to where you start doing the heel turn prep. So, anyway, coming right along. Still really pretty. Still really like it.
I just want to point out that it is March 4th.
Yes, the 5th.
5th, and we're getting all kinds of snow today.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but you know.
Somebody posted on TikTok and said they were pretending they were new to Minnesota, and they're like, "Oh, well, now all the hard winter months are gone. Now we're into March, and so it'll start to warm up, and the weather will be nice." And they're like, "Oh,
never mind.
You don't know about second winter.
This is third
false spring.
Yeah, this is third winter, I think.
Because we've had false spring already.
Yeah.
Then you have second winter and third winter.
Right. I think we're on third winter.
Okay.
So anyway, I will find that so I can keep doing this. I think I could figure it out anyway, but so the cuff is. So this is the cuff, right? No, this is the cuff. This is the leg, and then they have about like prep for the heel, then the heel. So. But yeah, I really like this pattern, and that's kind of that.
Nice.
It'll be a good thing for the plane.
Yeah, so we're going on a trip in a couple days.
Magic rocket ship.
The we're going on a trip to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We've not been on a vacation to Mexico before. Almost everybody in the state of Minnesota leaves and goes either to Arizona or Mexico.
Yeah, this time of year or earlier.
This time of year or earlier.
Yeah.
So we won a trip, as in we paid for a trip via a live auction, an auction at a fundraiser. So we are going to Puerto Vallarta for a week.
It'll be nice, especially because it's snowing right now.
Not in Puerto Vallarta, it's not. It's like 80 degrees.
It better not be snowing in Puerto Vallarta. I'm going to ask for my money back. But yeah.
Okay, is it my turn?
It is your turn.
All right, so whenever I need to get back into knitting or whenever I need to get my mojo back or get motivated, I just have to cast on a sock. So I did that. This is the first of two, obviously.
I hope so.
The first sock. I just used my same sock pattern I knit over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and I've almost got the heel turn. The heel turn is the only part that I don't have memorized because it's short rows, and I can never remember how many short rows I need to do to start with. But other than that, I've got the whole pattern memorized now. So, but this is a Zauberball.
I love that color.
Isn't it cool?
Can you get it so the other sock has the same?
You can, I think, but I don't like. I like it to be different.
Okay.
So, yeah. So the only thing, this Zauberball, and this might be so. Okay, I think with the Zauberballs, there's like a crazy Zauberball and like a regular Zauberball.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the regular ones because it sticks within the same. It's just magenta and black. It doesn't. There's no other colors in it, and it seems like from like here on the leg all the way almost to the toe, it's pretty much the same thing,
right,
where it's magenta and black twisted together. There's a little blip here in the middle where it's just magenta, but I was kind of hoping for more variation.
Yeah, I really like that though.
Yeah,
I think it's super.
The crazy Zauberballs.
Crazy.
They are crazy, but I feel like they vary more. Like they change from thing to thing more.
Yeah.
So this is what the Zauberball looks like, and it's got the black is unwoven. So So I went ahead and I cast on tonight before we started. I cast on. Oops. Oh, that's what the problem is. I've got a really long tail from I can never, I know that there's ways that you can do it, but I can never get the right length. My tails, when I do a long tail cast on, is always way too long. But I cast on for the second sock. And so it's going to be black to start with at the top. So where this toe ended black, I'm picking right back up.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be, the cuff will start out black. So
yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, so I'm loving it.
Excellent. And where'd you get this? Was that the Zauberball you got from recently, or was it just one you had?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I mean, I don't think I got it recently.
Okay.
But yeah, I've bought several.
Yeah, they're super fun.
They're just fun to grab, and
yeah, we are in the process. We have our house guests coming to stay while we're out of town to watch our wonderful menagerie, and we've been sort of cleaning our spare bedroom this week, which I don't know if anyone else is like this, but our spare bedroom becomes where we put all our knitting stuff. And so it's been kind of fascinating to go through and like rediscovering stuff, bags of stuff that, oh, I remember this.
Yeah. So. Yep, that is true.
Which is all good. It's all going to be used on amazing projects.
You can't die until you knit through all of your stash.
Right. So we're going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is that. So speaking of not using your stash, the other day we were at
speaking of not using your stash,
Three Kittens Fiber Arts
because Mendota Heights, Minnesota,
and you just like, let's go to a yarn store.
Well, we were going to go to Costco in the morning, and I wanted to stop by.
Yeah, so we went to Costco, and we had to stop. The yarn store was like on the way back, so we basically were forced to stop there.
Exactly. And then we went the wrong way and had to turn around and go back.
But we got there.
So it wasn't on the way.
And so you got some stuff.
I'm going to show mine after you show yours.
Okay. So this is both acquisitions.
I only bought one thing. But...
Acquisitions and project. So I picked up this pattern, this kit, and it is for a baby blanket. It's called the Bounce Blanket by TinCanKnits. And so it was
is that 2016?
2016.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically sold with a kit.
Let's hold it.
I don't want to show the pattern though.
There's no instructions.
Oh, that's true.
It's just the information about what you have to buy. And
anyway, copyright. So anyway, it was a kit, and it was basically this pattern with balls of Berroco Vintage to make it. And so I have started making it for our friend who they just had their baby.
Who the baker bear knitting.
So I got the rainbow kit, and here it is.
Wow, you made such good progress.
I know. Super fun.
So that little circle of blue yarn, John and I started these projects on the same day.
Yes. But what I've been trying to do is more or less a stripe every other day. It was a stripe a day for a while, but it's sort of fallen off since. So the kit is rainbow colors. So there's a red Roy G. Biv without the indigo. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. It was funny. They were like, I was like, oh, I don't know which one to get. And they're like, well, what's the sex of the baby? And I'm like, well, it's a boy, but it's for two dads. So I think the rainbow is what we're going to go for.
Yeah.
And I liked the rainbow colors, but I didn't want to do it too rainbowy. So what I'm doing is basically I have a a virtual six-sided dice that I roll. And depending on what number comes up next, I do that. So I rolled a 1, so I'm doing like Roy G. Biv, except for without the indigo. So like rolled a 1, red, rolled a 6, purple, rolled a yellow, rolled a 3, orange, and so on and so forth. And so that's kind of how I'm doing it. So there's like a kind of randomness to it. Although somehow it's turning out, I did the green, and then there's blue, blue, yellow, yellow, orange, orange.
Oh.
And that is I'm not cheating. This is sort of what happened. So what I might do is just do this pattern, just do this repeat again, sort of backwards forwards.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if the
universe
or the random number generator is telling me to do this, well, I guess I should do it. So anyway, it's a really fun, easy pattern. The way I'm doing it is knitting the knit rows, just regular English knitting, and then doing Portuguese knitting for the purl rows, because there is a basically it's you're doing yarn overs and 3-to-1 decreases. And I found the 3-to-1 decrease is a lot easier to do when I'm Portuguese knitting than when I'm doing the regular English knitting. So, very fun. So this is, I think the pattern calls for 18 rows, 18 color blocks. So I'm a little under a third done. This is a row, red, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm on row 9. So just under halfway done. I don't know if I'm going to take this on the trip with us. It seems bulky for beach knitting.
Yeah.
But it seems lovely for pool knitting.
See, I've decided it's just too much. I'm only going to bring socks with me when I go on vacation.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm a sock knitting fanatic.
Yeah. I think I'm going to bring this and just do a row do a little bit in the morning and then because the other thing is with doing the Portuguese knitting, you got the pin, which I have a magnet, so that might be a little weird for the beach.
Yeah, if you don't have your shirt on, it's like just glue it to you or something,
right, or something like that. So yeah, very fun. Really pretty colors. I like how, all the colors look good next to one another. I was a little worried about that, but I think it looks really, really great.
I have to apologize for yawning because it's Sunday night and I turn into a pumpkin on Sunday nights.
Yeah, I do. So anyway, again, it's Berroco Vintage. It's superwash. And there's some acrylic in it. And maybe some nylon too, which is good for baby blankets because they need to be tough and they need to be all
washable,
machine washable.
Yeah.
So,
machine washable. Yeah. All right, so I bought that same day. I only bought one thing, and I'll show it. And it's gonna freak you guys out because it's so weird that I bought this. It's a Zauberball. Oh my God. It's a Zauberball crazy though. Mm-hmm. Crazy Zauberball. Zauberball Stärke 6. What was the other thing I was trying to find? If there's any other. It's 150 grams. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so this one is definitely
crazy,
like a crazy one as opposed to like the magenta and black one. So I saw it and I liked it, and I always loved to buy Zauberball. So that's that.
Excellent. Is that our knitting content?
Did you have one more?
Nope, I did my 3.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So, if you're not someone who enjoys,
if you're strictly here for
you're strictly here for knitting. There we go. That's a better way to say it.
And there's no BA update.
Sorry, we had to consult with our resources for a minute to see if Betty Ann had done anything inappropriate.
So yeah, there's no
Betty Ann update.
Yeah, she's behaving. We have put the ankle monitor back on. And it administers a shock to her whenever she starts scheming.
Okay.
Which is constant.
That's true. We are going to kick off our new movie review segment. Recently, they re-released, at least in the United States, I don't know if they did this elsewhere, but it was the 25th anniversary of the movie Titanic. And Titanic is one of those movies that I really, really liked it when it came out, but for some reason, it's like people our age who were kids when it came out, or who were, and I guess I was in my 20s, never mind. People who were young when it came out, it's like we make jokes about it as though it weren't a good movie.
Well,
is it because it was so? I think it's sentimental.
No, I think it's because it's so ubiquitous, right? So it came out 25 years ago. It made more money than any movie has ever made.
Yeah.
Up until, I think, just very recently.
And it was like 3 hours long.
3 hours long, and like, you can do the penny whistle theme. Everyone knows it. If you can say...
Everybody knows the heart will go on song.
Everyone knows that the lady threw the jewel into the ocean thing. So it was a freaking Britney Spears song. I mean, it's one of those movies that is so ubiquitous that it's a cultural touchstone. I don't know what it is. It's like kind of like Gone with the Wind.
But it does feel a little bit like we make jokes about watching it. Maybe that's just amongst our group of friends.
Yeah.
But anyway, so John and I don't take Valentine's Day very seriously. I don't know anybody that really takes Valentine's Day very seriously older than the age of 16. So when I had gone, the Friday before Valentine's Day, I had gone with a friend of mine to see the movie Women Talking, which is amazing. Even if I'm the only one who thinks that.
I think it's amazing. Just the subject matter is like, everyone's like, what I want to watch is a movie about sexual violence in a Mennonite community.
Right, yeah. It is a little tough to watch, but I'm trying to watch all the Oscar winners, and my friend Jenny wanted to go see it, and she had coupons. Right. She had coupons to go to the movie theater. So we went. And while we were there, they had a commercial or a trailer or whatever for the re-release of... Oh my gosh, I just noticed there's like holes in this. And this is not a knitted sweater. This is a purchase sweater, but there's like little holes in it. Anyway, there was a trailer for the re-release 25th anniversary in 4K 3D. In 3D. So I'm like, okay, well, I know what John and I are doing for Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day, John had chorus rehearsal. So we couldn't go on Valentine's Day. Went the day after Valentine's Day. And we went and saw it. I forgot how good that movie is.
Yeah, but that's kind of... So we'll talk about more about Titanic. So we watched Titanic.
Oh yeah, I gotta slow down.
And we're like, wow. So I don't think I'd seen it since I saw it in the theaters in 1998.
Right.
I saw it twice. Like many people, saw it more than once. And... we're like, and this, it won Best Picture and everything like that. And we're like, we should talk about this in our podcast. But we're kind of trying to figure it out for...
Well, because I'm trying to watch all the Oscar nominees for Best Picture this year, I said, well, what if we did, for our segment, what if we did all of the Best Picture Best Picture winners?
Right.
Since the Oscars have started.
Right.
Because we've talked about doing that before.
Yeah. And that seemed really fun. And then we're sort of, like, I was going through, I'm like,
Because John has to put a twist on everything.
Well, no, I was just going through and like, yes, we could start at the beginning and do all of the Best Picture movies. But I was like, I have a love of terrible movies. Always have. Always been really interested in bad movies. Like, not like, just a poorly made movie, but the fiascos, right?
Right.
The big flops, the really big disaster movies.
Or movies that are fun to make fun of while you watch
them.
Right,
that are infamous almost. So I was like, hey, why don't we watch the Best Picture movie? And then we also watch the winner of the Razzie Award, the Golden Raspberry, which is an award that's given every year, the day after the Oscars.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's basically given
But it's a whole series of awards. It's not just one.
They do the same one, like Best Movie, Worst Movie, Worst Actor, Worst Directed. They do, like, all these, like, weird scenes. They do, like, special ones, like, Worst Performance by a Mechanical Doll who's a vampire.
Yeah, they do special categories.
But it's, like, but they tend to pick, like, really... Like, they don't pick, like, just a bad movie. They pick kind of...
There's got to be something uniquely bad about it.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, why don't we watch the best movie and then watch
the Best Picture winner, Oscar winner.
Yeah, because that's not always the best movie.
Not always the best movie.
And then we'll watch the movie that won the Razzie for Worst Picture that year, too. And that, to me, sounded super fun. Because... Yes.
And it does to me, too.
Yeah. And also because, like, the Razzie started in 1981. And
oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking it was sooner than that. Okay.
Yeah, so the first Razzie is one of my favorite movies, which is You Can't Stop the Music.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like, I love that movie so much.
The movie about the...
Village People.
Village People, that's right.
So, but it's kind of fun. So they started in like, 81, and they're up to today, which is kind of as long as I remember going to movies in a lot of ways. Like, I think the first movies I remember watching in the theaters or being aware of that weren't Disney films was like 81, 82.
When did E.T. come out?
83?
Because
that 84?
E.T. was the first movie I remember seeing in the theater.
Right.
Anyway.
So anyway, it's kind of this like... So if we do this, we'll revisit a lot of movies that we've already seen and have memories of kind of being in the cultural zeitgeist. So, and what we'll do is we'll talk about both
movies. What'll
be
interesting is to see how many... Because I'm sure I've seen a lot of the Best Pictures. Mm-hmm. What I don't know is if I've seen a lot of the Razzies.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah. And some of the Razzies are going to be, like, more fun to watch than others.
Yeah.
Case in point. Anyway, so so this is kind of what we're going to do. We're going to, every podcast, we're going to pick a year, and we're going to do the Best Picture, Best Movie, and Best Picture winner of the Oscar. The Oscar winner for the Best Picture.
There you go.
There we go.
And, I knew it didn't sound quite right.
I know, and the Golden Raspberry winner for Worst Picture, and we're going to do them side by side and just talk about them.
Yes.
So,
and eventually we will come up with our items, and we'd love to hear what you guys think about, like with the Angela Lansbury movies, we eventually got into, like, was there knitting in it? Were there any cats that were harmed?
Right.
How old was Angela Lansbury in real life versus the age she was playing? There were things that we tracked because they just kind of were funny. Yeah. And so... I think for this we'll track what was the budget and how much money was made. That'll probably be one.
Yeah.
But there'll be other things.
And then I think eventually we will both do a blind vote on which one we liked more.
Yeah, I don't think that'll...
No, you and I will be like, okay, Scott, which one did you like better?
Yeah, but I don't think it's ever going to be...
No, we'll be fine.
I don't think that's ever going to be interesting.
No.
Because it's always going to be the Best Picture, probably.
Oh, no.
I'm never going to pick the Razzie over the Best Picture winner.
I guarantee that when we watch 81, 82, I'm going to like, you can't stop the music
what you're saying.
More than
not that
ordinary.
It's a better movie.
Right, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, watch it. Okay, that's okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying which is a better movie.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Because the whole point of the Razzie is that it's bad, but it could be fun bad.
Right, exactly. Could it be more fun to watch? There are a lot of Best Picture movies that have won the Oscar that are really good movies that are not super fun to watch.
Right.
And fun's not the right word. Enjoyable or whatever.
Entertaining, yeah. So the Razzie Titanic was 1998. Mm-hmm. And we just started this segment because
Titanic.
Yeah. So we watched the Razzie from 1998, which was
The Postman, starring Kevin Costner.
The Postman.
What's interesting is these are both 3-hour movies.
Yes. There's a lot of
like, these are both...
And that's probably why one of the things that made it unique and why they picked it is because it was bad, but also in comparison to Titanic, it was also 3 hours. Like, that was what made it uniquely...
Oh, hi, Junior. Hey, buddy.
It's okay.
If he's not
gonna knock it over.
If our cat knocks it over, Junior, don't eat
He's like, can you please pay attention to me?
Don't eat the ring light. Good boy. Okay,
he's not a dog. You can't say good boy.
Good boy.
He doesn't care.
Good
he's
boy.
A good boy.
Good boy.
He's a cat.
Good boy, Junior.
He's like, I'm sorry, plebe. I don't have time to talk to you.
He is the iceberg that killed the Titanic.
He is the iceberg. No, that's Linus.
Yeah. Okay, so
Titanic. Titanic. Do you want to talk about Titanic in general, and I'll pull it up?
Yeah. So, Titanic. 3 hours long. It's a movie, and spoiler alert, the shit now. So it's 3 hours long. James Cameron. People literally were calling it James Cameron's Waterworld as they were making it. Because it was going way over budget. It was being filmed in Mexico, I think. And he had cast these two unknowns, kind of, Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio in it, who were not big names. And people were like, and they had to like do special financing because it was so expensive. And people were like, this thing is going to come out. It is going to be terrible. And it's going to be the biggest flop ever. It's going to be like Cleopatra again. Like, it's going to lose more money than any movie has lost before or ever since. And it comes out, and people loved it.
So our best picture and our worst picture came out within a week of one another too. They were both released around the Christmas holiday in 1997. Postman was Christmas Day and Titanic was December 19th.
Really?
That's what it says in...
Oh, so it won Best Picture and then it ran for another year.
Well, yeah, I mean, remember the...
I have this memory of it being released in the summer. I think I saw it anyway. So it was in theaters forever, which is why I'm having like a hard time remembering recently over Christmas. I feel like it's a summer blockbuster. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So Titanic, 3 years later, it's still a good movie.
25 years later.
25 years later, it's still a really good movie. So we watched it, and it kept our attention for 3 hours.
It definitely did. And once, tell the part about... I'm not sure that anybody... I mean, for all I know, Junior's blocking us out and we're just voices, but I don't think so, because we can see the lens.
Yeah.
So. Tell the part that you said about why it keeps you, because it's two separate movies.
Right, because it's basically an old-fashioned love story, like from like the... I mean, you could take the sort of like love story, and you have the love story, and then you have a 1970s disaster movie that ends with a love story. And so just when the love story kind of gets a little, you can't watch 3 hours of a love story, in my opinion. Then you have like this nice little like, hour-long disaster movie that comes along, and then that clears up, ends with a love story. So, but like, I think in order for that to work, both of those stories have to be well done and good. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed it again.
Yeah, and so we saw it in 3D.
Not necessarily.
It didn't. Yeah, I didn't think it gave it anything extra.
Yeah.
4K.
Maybe.
I do think that the quality... I think if we had watched it not in 4K, we would have been like, "Oh my gosh, it's so old!" Like it
would have had that look of an older movie.
Yeah, but it was the quality in 4K was really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, the music is always really good, because that was... Who did the music? I forget that.
Someone who did a lot of other music.
Yeah.
Horner and Will Jennings.
James Horner did
James
the music.
Horner,
yeah, that's right.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's not... we were thinking about Titanic and, like, what to talk about. Like, I think what's kind of amazing is watching it and, like, Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, who were, like, they were known names, but like since then they both had really amazing careers ever since.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to watch them kind of as... I think she was, what? I can't remember how old they were when they made it. Yeah, because 1975, yeah. So
Kate Winslet was 22, and Leonardo DiCaprio was 23.
Yeah.
Good Lord, he looked like he was 16.
Yeah, no. She looked like... and they were playing... I mean, he was playing a 17-year-old, so...
Yeah.
Or he was 19. I can't remember the age. But they're really good. They are clearly huge stars from the minute they show up on the screen.
Yeah. So Titanic made, on a budget of $200 million, it made $2.247 billion.
Yeah.
Now I'm assuming that's not adjusted.
I don't know. I
don't believe that is.
Yeah.
It's still... I mean, I was like... So when we were watching it, I thought there were parts of the movie when it starts to sink that were almost too much to watch, with the people falling off the boat.
And then everyone freezing to death, and like...
and I thought...
And like he shows dead babies.
Yeah.
There's a dead frozen baby in there. I think...
Well, and I'm like, so, okay, 25 years ago, I've seen a lot of horror movies, a lot of gory movies. I've seen Saving Private Ryan. I'm probably pretty jaded at this point,
right.
And it was still, like, hard to watch all those people die. I guess because it's real.
Right.
I guess Saving Private Ryan was based on a real story.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can easily put myself there.
Mm-hmm.
meaning I can be sympathetic or empathetic for those people.
Well,
And it's just hard to watch.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. But yeah, it doesn't feel exploitive, I guess, for lack of a better word. Because sometimes these movies do. But I think, yeah.
So it was, according to the Wikipedia article, it was the most expensive film ever made.
Mm-hmm.
That's not adjusted, because I'm sure before that there were movies that cost, not the dollar amount wasn't more, but adjusted for inflation, it probably more.
I think Cleopatra is still the most expensive movie ever made.
Yeah, based on what the dollar was valued at the time.
Yeah, I think.
But it wasn't until James Cameron's film Avatar was the film that surpassed it for the amount of money it made.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts about Titanic?
I wanted to mention the thing about it being hard to watch. I think we talked about the main actors, and I wanted to talk about the financial aspects, the budget and stuff, but
it is interesting. Like, we were thinking about this, like, when you think of a Titanic, the movie, right? So you think about, I'm King of the World, right? You think of, like, where she's holding him on the bow of the ship.
He's holding her.
Whatever. You think about the Draw Me Like One of Your French Girls.
Draw Me Like One of Your French Girls.
The handprint on the car.
Yeah. There are so many iconic things that have been parodied or referenced.
The door, which, let's put it clearly, there was room.
Yeah, I think somebody did some kind of scientific study. I don't understand why people get so worked up about that.
Because they want a happy ending.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, they're not real people.
Yeah, I know. A lot of the people in the movie are really people. Like, the single Molly Brown was actually there.
The captain was the real captain.
Right.
Or when he's playing the real captain.
Right. Billy Zane, the bad guy, I guess he didn't exist at all. But yeah, I mean... But all those moments are really from the love story part of it, and not so much the Titanic sinking part of it.
Yeah.
Like, and so it was, like, funny to, like, watch it, like, and I was like, oh, there's this whole bit where they're, like, running through cold water, and they're climbing up the ship, and and I just, that is...
And it just looks so, when they're inside the ship even, it just looks so cold.
Yeah.
And I remember, Titanic was the boat, and the sinking of the boat was something, especially, was it James Cameron that found the boat?
No, they'd found the boat for a long time. He did a lot of filming of the boat for the series.
Okay,
so the shots in the beginning are actually the shots that he shot of the Titanic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they found the do we know when they found the Titanic?
Okay. So I remember that being watching that in the news when they found the Titanic.
Okay. So 1985 was when they found the Titanic. After that, so much was done with that. There was a picture book that came out, like a coffee table book. And I think my brother got it for his birthday or for Christmas or something. My brother was obsessed with the Titanic. And like for a long time, it was not something that he just thought was interesting, and then time passed and he got over it. And so it was one of those things that's just kind of like, for whatever reason, there's something in your family, in your childhood that you remember. And I remember my brother just being obsessed with the Titanic. And so when the movie came out, I was off at college, or had just finished college, and was living up here in Minnesota at the time. But I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, my brother is going to be so excited to see that movie.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, yeah. So anything else?
Let me think. I still get mad that she throws the diamond into the water at the end.
Yeah, why did she throw the diamond in the water?
Just like you could have fed a lot of hungry children.
Yeah.
Rose. Old Rose.
It's been 84. Oh, and then that's become a meme.
Yeah.
Where somebody like talks about how they've been like waiting at the DMV, and then they show the old lady, it's been 84 years.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I think Titanic's a very easy movie to make fun of, because it's a very I
think, like you said, ubiquitous.
It's ubiquitous, and it wears it's
sincere.
It's sincere, it's romantic, like it's not done with a sense of irony, I think.
It's not jaded.
It's not jaded. And yeah.
Okay, so...
There was room on the yeah.
Okay, The Postman.
Ugh.
Released a week later. It was 1997 American post-apocalyptic action-adventure film produced and directed by Kevin Costner. There was a book.
By David.
I didn't know anything about this. I thought this was a movie that had come out like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I knew nothing about it. You had read the book.
Mm-hmm.
You had enjoyed the book.
Yes. And
so the concept... So The Postman is set in the future of the far future 2013. And the government and I think it was, they basically implied that it was nuclear war, right? That had
or something
destroyed society,
or plagues,
war. I think, but it wasn't at war specifically.
Yeah, I think.
Anyway, so people basically are living in little enclaves. And don't have power and don't have a lot of the technology they don't have anymore. And so it's been 20 years or more, right? Since the collapse had occurred.
I think so, yeah.
It had been going on long enough that there were children that didn't remember the before time. Or teenagers that didn't remember the before time. And so Kevin Costner is a drifter. He's not living in one of the enclaves, like the little towns or whatever, and he is wandering about with his mule. And he goes into towns to trade for food and shelter and things like that by doing snippets of Shakespearean soliloquies. Really badly. And I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not.
I think he's not supposed to be a good actor.
Okay.
I feel like that was I don't know if that was a choice they made. I don't know why, but I think he's not supposed to be a really... I mean, he's just be kind of not a hack, but he's just sort of doing this because he knows how to do this, and it's still Shakespeare, right?
Right, and so people don't know Shakespeare, obviously, because... So, he happens to be in a town when this group of bad guys show up, who are followers of this mythic person, and I can't remember what the person's name is.
Like Wholeness or something like that.
Wholeness. Or it was Holn.
Holn, yeah.
And then the Wholeness was the movement or whatever. But basically it was anti-government, fascist kind of...
White supremacist.
White supremacist kind of...
Militia, basically.
Militia, yeah. And so they're going from town to town and stealing stuff. And so then this guy decides that he's going to build an army and, take over the world. And so he is basically taking 5 or 10 men from each village or something that he comes upon and to send to his... They have a giant... strip mine where they have their headquarters, and so Kevin Costner is one of the people that he forces to come with him. And so Kevin Costner, I'm gonna make this quick because it's this weird, long, meandering plot. But basically, he escapes the prison camp where he's being turned into a soldier. He finds a mailbag. And then he, like a car where a postman, a post letter carrier had died, and his mailbag was in there. And so the town where the mail was supposed to be delivered 20 years ago is still there. So he takes the mailbag to the town. He's trying to get in so he can get food and shelter and stuff like that. And so he delivers the mail to that town. And there's people still in that town, or children of people in that town, who the mail is for.
Yeah.
And so then it creates this movement of young kids, or...
He becomes a symbol of hope in troubled times.
Yes, and all the teenagers in the country start becoming letter carriers and start delivering the mail. And they set up and basically society is restored because we can do mail again.
Yes.
And so
let me just put it this way.
Yeah.
This is a 3-hour movie.
About the mailman.
And I'm not... okay. I'm going to also say this is our opinions. If someone is out there and the Postman is their favorite movie in the world, this is just our opinion.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, people make fun of movies that
Yeah.
I tear up every time I watch Frozen. Okay? And I'm an adult.
Yeah. So
people can make fun of me for that.
I just want to say, like, you know, taste is subjective.
Absolutely.
This is our opinion.
Kevin Costner loved this movie.
Yeah. If you don't agree or you think we're being overly harsh,
we're just trying to be funny.
we're trying to be funny
and entertaining more than anything.
But that being said, it was 3 hours. And I do think if you had made this a 2-hour movie, it might have been good.
Yeah.
It was just really long.
It was long, and what I didn't understand. So let's talk about the things that we liked and the things we didn't like. So one of the not in any order, but one of the things that I didn't like about it was the fact that it started off, and it kind of had the feel of Mad Max and Thunderdome, or one of those, you know, the Book of Eli, one of those where it's wasteland.
And let's. What is your favorite genre of movie, Scott?
Post-apocalyptic. Well, actually, it's my favorite genre of book.
Okay, but
movies.
It's still.
Yes, it is one of my favorite storytelling devices or genres.
Yeah.
Is post-apocalyptic. Like the world has collapsed, society has collapsed, and it's people trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces and move on. I love that.
So I'm just saying this is a genre that you are primed to like.
Yes,
okay.
I should like it no matter what.
Yeah,
but. It started off with this dusty wasteland kind of feel. And the people in the town seemed like they were like living in medieval times or something. Yeah. And then after he escapes from the prison camp, from that point in the movie forward, it feels more like...
a Western.
A Western, but kind of like if anybody is watching the new TV show The Last of Us, where they're just one step removed from technology and power and everything. It's like there's no more people living in these little medieval villages, and there's not this dusty wasteland anymore.
Right. There's small towns, but they might not have like the best plumbing.
Right. Because some of the towns have power.
Yep.
And so that felt very disjointed to me. I liked some of, I thought it was really cool that Tom Petty was in the movie. I really like Tom Petty, and Betty Ann hates Tom Petty, but I really like Tom Petty.
Tom Petty, so they come to a town, and they're like, bring out the mayor of the town, and it's Tom Petty.
And he's Tom Petty playing Tom Petty. And he's
like,
wait, aren't you famous?
And he's like, yes, I used to be, but that's not important now.
Right.
But yeah, so that was very funny. Like the fact that Tom Petty was in this movie and he was playing Tom Petty in the future, who instead of, you know, who's now the mayor of this town that uses hydroelectric power, Bridgetown, the mayor of Bridgetown.
Mayor of Bridgetown, yeah. But so I didn't like the disjointedness of it. I felt that a lot of the moments that were supposed to be inspiring came across as cheesy. So like the big scene where there's a big scene and they memorialize it with a bronze statue at the end of the movie is where Kevin Costner is riding from point A to point B on a horse, and he's picking up mail on his way, and he rides by this house, and this little kid goes outside, and he's already ridden by, so he can't get his letter. Because everybody's all excited because they were like connecting with relatives and all this stuff. But the kid wanders outside and doesn't say anything. He just goes, like, he doesn't say, hey, Mr. Postman, or he doesn't try to flag him down or anything. He just stands there. And then, for no reason, Kevin Costner turns around. And it's things like that where there's little, you don't realize how important the details are in a movie and the motivations of the character matter.
Right.
Until you see something like that. Kevin Costner just turns around for no reason, and then he gallops on his horse.
In slow motion.
And grabs the letter out of the kid's hand. Now, there is I don't know how much horses weigh. Like 1,000 pounds or 800 pounds or 500 pounds. I have no idea how much horses weigh. But several 100-pound horse galloping full speed towards this little child. And you're telling me that the little child just goes like that and doesn't like get scared or get out of the way
or trampled.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
There was a lot of that.
There's a lot of moments where you're just like, huh. I think, all right. So there's a face off the very end between like the people who are like defending the postal service versus the mean army of people who've read Iron John too many times. And so there's this big battle scene about to happen. And it ends up being single combat at the end between the main guy and Kevin Costner in a fist fight.
So John literally...
I was so mad.
We're sitting there and John, I think the last 3 things that happen in the movie, John literally is sitting there going, oh, he's not going to be dead. He's going to sit up and
that person's going to kill him, yeah.
And then that person's going to kill him. And then that person's going to turn on the... I mean, he was literally like... Because it was all the tropes.
And it was all really telegraphed. Like,
yeah.
You're like, I bet this happens. And, like, you don't want to be right. Always. Like, you want to be surprised. John
said... He said, if this and this and this happens, I'm literally going to throw my glass of water at the screen.
Yeah.
And it happened. And I'm like, I paused it. Like, do you want to throw your glass at the screen?
No, because I like our new TV. So, I mean, I guess what I would say about the Postman is it's 3 hours long. I can't say I'm glad I watched it.
No, and it wasn't fun bad.
Right.
That was the problem.
It was just kind of tedious bad.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't write movies. I don't direct movies. I don't act in movies. I know it's really hard to make a good movie. But I really do believe if you had someone said, hey, Kevin, you can't do this. This needs to be 2 hours long. And you need to cut some stuff. I feel there might have been a shorter movie in there.
Yeah, and Kevin, I feel I read an article about that, and Kevin Costner said something to the effect of, you can't truly understand the main character, and the complicated situation that he was in, where he was this hero, but he didn't want to be a hero.
Yeah.
You can't get that in 2 hours.
I think you can.
I think Kevin Costner's made some good movies.
Yeah, no,
I don't mean to bash Kevin Costner, but...
No. I mean, he'd write and direct it, so... Or no, he directed it.
He directed
the
it,
screenplay. Yeah, I just think it's one of those things like... there are just... Some movies just don't turn out well.
Yeah.
So,
I thought the message was good. The community, people coming together. Watching it after having been through here in Minneapolis, we had the pandemic, and right during the pandemic, we also had the uprising around George Floyd, and so it obviously that wasn't post-apocalyptic,
right?
But it did give me that. It did remind me of why I love our neighborhood and our community and our city so much.
Right.
I love Minneapolis, and I love our neighborhood, and I love our neighbors.
Right.
And there was some of that feeling too of when if society were to collapse, there's part of me that feels like you would come together with your friends and family and we would figure it out.
Right.
It would be horrible at the beginning. But anyway, I'm don't know what I'm talking about. The budget was $80 million.
Okay.
So as opposed to $200 million for the Titanic, and it made $21 million.
Okay.
So it lost $59 million.
Right.
Whereas
Titanic,
Titanic brought in $2.2 billion.
Yeah, like 10 times its budget.
Right. Oh, it did win 3 Saturn Awards, which is a sci-fi... Or no, it was nominated.
Yeah.
So for 3 Saturn Awards, which are sci-fi awards. So Best Science Fiction Film, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Actor.
Yeah.
So, but it won Worst Actor for Kevin Costner. It won Worst Director for Kevin Costner. It won Worst Picture. It won Worst Screenplay, and it won Worst Original Song for the entire soundtrack.
That being said, there was the moment on the credits where the original song was sung. It was Amy Grant and Kevin Costner singing together, and that was
that's
awesome.
right. Kevin Costner sang the lead song with Amy Grant. But come to find out, he has like a band and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like an actual musician. So that it wasn't like when Don Johnson sang that song. What movie was that, or what was that where Don Johnson sang that song? Don't remember. Was it in an episode of Miami Vice? I can't remember. But anyway, it was, and the other thing was the big lie that they have is that the government's been restored, which is not true. But the government's been restored and the new capital of the United States is Minneapolis.
Right.
We thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So we had a good time watching that.
Yeah.
Watching those.
Watching those movies, and thinking about them.
There was a part in the movie where I'm scrolling on my phone and I look at him and I'm like, is this movie still on?
It was 3 hours and you felt the 3 hours.
Oh, and Olivia
Williams
was in it, who's one of my favorite actresses. And so it was weird to see her so young and trying to get through such an awkward script.
Yeah.
But anyway. Okay, so tell us about how we're going to continue.
All right. So
how we're going to pick up the pieces of our lives and move on.
So what we're going to do is, so I have a random number generator. And let's pick a number between 1981 and 2022.
Okay.
Which are the years the Raz is around. And it's going to find a year. And as long as it's not 1998, we will do that. So, generate 2002.
Okay. Our Oscar Best Picture, for 2002, I'm going to tell you. So look, 2002, ooh, this is good. Best Picture, Chicago.
Interesting. Okay.
Other nominees that year were Gangs of New York, The Hours, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, and The Pianist.
I would have picked Two Towers, but that's just me.
That's because you're a big old.
So wait. Nerd. So wait, read those again.
Gangs of New York, The Hours, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, and The Pianist.
I've seen all of those with The Pianist.
What's the one with the really tall, skinny guy?
Yeah, it's The Pianist. Adrian Brody.
Oh, right. I've seen The Pianist. The Pianist is amazing.
Yeah, no, those are all good movies.
But you said you haven't seen.
I've not seen it.
We should watch it sometime. I got confused because they've got the filmmakers listed, and I was like, wait a second, I don't see him.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chicago.
Okay.
And the Golden Raspberry Worst Picture. Don't look. You keep looking.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to help you find it on the thing.
I don't know this movie.
Okay.
So the worst picture for 2002 was Swept Away.
Oh my god. That's the Madonna. Madonna directed that.
Okay, let's look. Let's click on it. So, a 2002 American adventure comedy romance film written and directed by Guy Ritchie.
Oh, but Madonna's in it.
It is a remake of Lena Wertmüller's 1974 Italian film of the same name. The film stars Ritchie's then-wife Madonna and Adriano Giannini, the son of Giancarlo Giannini, the original film's lead, with a supporting cast featuring Bruce Greenwood, Jean Triplehorn, and Elizabeth Banks.
Okay.
All right, so other nominees for Worst Picture that year were The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Didn't see that.
Crossroads.
Oh.
Pinocchio.
Oh, the Robert Benigni one? Yeah.
Yeah. And then Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I'm surprised that didn't win Worst Movie. So we will be watching Chicago and Swept Away.
Very good.
Neither of those are particularly long.
No.
And I've seen Chicago a lot. I think I've got most of the music memorized.
Yeah. I've seen the show.
But it's been a while since I've seen it all the way through.
I've seen the show a couple of times. And
I've never seen the show.
Oh. So.
Cool. So we will be back next time.
Next time with more knitting. And
hopefully a teddy bear head.
Hopefully. And movie reviews.
So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.